Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the epic world of Anime Last Stand, where your favorite anime heroes come together in an intense tower defense showdown. Now, if you're looking to dominate the battlefield and build the ultimate squad, you've come to the right place. In this video, we're breaking down the Anime Last Stand tier list, giving you the inside scoop on which characters are going to lead you to victory and which ones might need to sit on the bench. Whether you're a seasoned player or just starting out, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of each unit is key to crushing your enemies and defending your towers like a pro. So, grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's get into it as we explore the best of the best in Anime Last Stand. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll have all the tips you need to assemble a dream team that's ready to take on anything the game throws at you. Let's get started. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking units in Anime Last Stand. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Gas and Super Robot 12. So let's talk about the D tier units in Anime Last Stand, you know, the ones you probably want to avoid unless you're looking for a challenge, or maybe just like the thrill of losing. These units, bless their hearts, really try, but they just can't keep up with the powerhouses from the higher tiers. Sure, they might have a couple of cool abilities or flashy moves, but when push comes to shove, they're usually the first ones to get knocked out. Honestly, if you're trying to build a solid team, D-tier units are kind of like that friend who always shows up late to the party and then eats all the snacks. They just don't contribute much. They're not completely useless, but in a game as competitive as Anime Last Stand, you want units that can hold their own in battle, and these guys just don't cut it. If you're using one of these, you might be doing it for the challenge, or maybe you're just waiting to swap them out as soon as something better comes along. So, if you're serious about winning, do yourself a favor and steer clear of the D-tier. Trust me, there's nothing worse than watching your base get overrun because your team couldn't keep up. At the end of the day, you're better off with almost anything else. Save the D-tier units for when you're feeling brave, or maybe just for when you want to make the game a bit more interesting. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Chand, Curse King, Compass Demon, and Heavenly Chad. Alright, let's dive into the C tier units in Anime Last Stand. Now, these characters, they're like that friend who always shows up to the party but never brings anything exciting to the table. Don't get me wrong, they have their moments, they can be decent when paired with the right team or in specific scenarios, but let's be real, you're not picking these guys if you're aiming for top tier gameplay. C tier units are useful early on when you're just starting out and haven't unlocked the heavy hitters yet. They'll get the job done for a while, but as you progress, you're going to want to swap them out for something a bit more reliable. Think of them as your training wheels. They help you get going, but you'll want to ditch them as soon as you can for something faster and more efficient. So, should you add these units to your team? Maybe in a pinch. If you're desperate and need a throwaway unit, they can fill a spot. But don't expect them to carry you through the tougher battles. They're not the most versatile, and their damage output is just meh. You'd definitely be better off aiming higher, but hey, if you're in a tight spot, they might just help you scrape by. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Overtime Sorcerer, Tanjiro, King Pendragon, 8th Division Captain, Baldy Sirius, Skeleton Knight, Night King, Shark Ninja, Wind Prince Spirit, Idol, Pride Knight, Unleashed Umbral Prince, Best Waifu, Businessman, Yojin, Ninal, String Warlord, Awakened, and Butterfly Breather. So, let's talk about the B tier units in Anime Last Stand. These characters are like the dependable sidekicks in your favorite anime. Maybe not the star of the show, but they get the job done. They're solid, reliable, and perfect for filling in gaps in your team. You might not be winning any Best Unit of the Year awards with them, but when you need someone to step up and perform, these units are ready to roll. Now, don't get me wrong, B-tier units aren't going to blow you away with flashy moves or mind-blowing stats. They're not the characters you're bragging about in your guild chats, but they're not bottom of the barrel either. Think of them as your go-to pick when your A-tier options are on cooldown or you're just starting out and building up your roster. They do their job well, just not perfectly, and that's okay. Sometimes you just need a character who can hold their own without any drama. But here's the thing, while B-tier units can carry you through the early and mid-game stages, they'll start to feel the heat later on. As the battles get tougher and the enemy stronger, you might notice them struggling to keep up. that's when it's time to start thinking about upgrading. But until then, enjoy the ride with these dependable heroes. They've got your back when it counts. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Green Esper, Asuta Magic Knight, Time King, Hero Hunter, Aizen Post Orb, Tada Boogie Woogie, Almighty Ninja Paths, Animated Crow, Dark Captain, Ichiko Hollow Form, Division Vice Captain, The Last Great Mage, Explosive Blood, Greed, Jester, Strongest Sorcerer Unmasked, Sunwoo Winter, and Wrath Demon Prince. Alright, so let's talk about the A tier units in Anime Last Stand. These characters are like your trusty sidekicks, always there for you, strong enough to get the job done, and just shy of being total powerhouses. While they might not have the absolute dominance of the S tier units, don't sleep on them. These A tier heroes bring a great balance of power and versatility, making them the perfect picks when you need a reliable team member. Whether you're clearing tough missions or just looking for a solid lineup, these characters have got your back. Now, here's the thing, some of these A tier units are so close to breaking into the S tier, it almost feels unfair. With just a few tweaks, they could easily be top tier contenders. But hey, that's part of their charm, right? They're like that underdog you can't help but root for. You might not be flexing on your friends with an A tier unit, but trust me, when the chips are down, these characters can pull their weight and then some. So, if you find yourself without an S tier character, don't sweat it. The A tier units are more than capable of carrying your team through most challenges. They're strong, they're versatile, and honestly, in the right hands, they can shine just as bright. Whether you're a seasoned player or just starting out, these characters are excellent choices that you won't regret having in your lineup. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Pride the One, Curse King Shadow Fusion, The True Curse King, Black Swordsman Berserk, 7th Company, Captain Former, Fortune Master, Division Captain, Flame Breather, Strongest Sorcerer Unsealed, Monster, No 8, Red Pirate, Itadori Enraged, Shadow Sorcerer Focused, Shadow, Surgeon of Death, and Ulmiora Segunda. Alright, let's dive into the creme de la creme of Anime Last Stand, the S tier units. These bad boys are the absolute pinnacle of power and strategy in the game. If you're lucky enough to snag one of these units, you're not just ahead of the game, you're practically unstoppable. They're the ones who can single-handedly turn the tide of a match with their insane damage output and game-changing abilities. Imagine mini units with massive hitting power. These characters don't just contribute, they dominate. Whether it's their jaw-dropping damage, unparalleled utility, or mind-blowing support skills, these S-tier units are the best of the best. Think of them as your ultimate squad members who can bring that extra edge to your battles, making every fight a walk in the park. So, if you've pulled any of these top-tier units, congrats, they're your ticket to victory. Try them out, and you'll see just why they're considered the most powerful in Anime Last Stand. They're not just strong, they're game changers, and having them on your team means you're already ahead in the game. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.